The invasion fleet approached Earth with confidence bordering on arrogance. Commander Vex of the Galactic Dominion studied the blue planet through his command screen, shaking his elongated head in disbelief at how simple this conquest would be. Initial. Scans complete, Commander, reported his subordinate Rix. Technology level approximately 3 centuries behind our minimum threshold. Their most advanced weapons appeared to be primitive fusion devices and kinetic projectiles. Vex allowed himself a rare smile. In his 40 cycles of military service, he had never encountered a species so defenseless. Their intelligence reports indicated a world divided into hundreds of separate territories constantly warring among themselves. Perfect. Begin atmospheric entry, Vex commanded. Send the first wave to establish beachheads on each major landmass. This world will fall before the next solar cycle. Below, Earth's unified command centers burst into frantic activity. The aliens had no way of knowing that humanity had detected their approach weeks earlier. General Miller stood before a holographic display showing the incoming vessels. They're following the predicted pattern, she announced to the gathered leaders. Dispersed, landing sites just as Dr. Walsh calculated they would attempt. Dr. Walsh, the physicist whose theories had helped humanity prepare for this moment, nodded grimly. They're overconfident. Our energy signatures suggest we're centuries behind them technologically, but they don't understand human ingenuity. The first alien dropships pierced Earth's atmosphere, their shields flickering briefly against the defensive grid that shouldn't have existed. Commander Vex frowned at his console. Rix, these energy spikes are abnormal. Recalibrate the sensors. Calibration. Complete, Commander. The readings are unchanged. There appears to be some form of planetary defense network. Before Vex could respond, his tactical display exploded with warnings. Projectiles of enormous mass were launching from the planet's surface, not toward his ships, but toward predetermined coordinates in space. Evasive maneuvers, Vex roared, but it was too late. The projectiles weren't aimed at the ships, they were aimed at where the ships would be. Humanity had calculated the invasion routes months earlier, when their first probes detected the Dominion's scout ships. Now, kinetic kill vehicles moving at significant fractions of light speed intersected perfectly with the alien fleet's projected positions. Commander Vex watched in horror as his advance force disintegrated. These weren't primitive weapons. These were brilliantly engineered solutions that turned basic physics into devastating weapons. On Earth, Colonel Lee commanded the ground defense. Enemy dropships confirmed in Sector 7. Initiate Protocol Grizzly. The Yidi alien soldiers emerged from their craft expecting minimal resistance. Instead, they found themselves facing defensive positions that seemed to materialize from nowhere. Humans had spent decades perfecting camouflage and guerrilla tactics for conflicts among themselves. Now those lessons served a higher purpose. Private. Johnson looked through his scope at the advancing aliens. They moved in predictable formations, their technology making them lazy. His finger found the trigger of a weapon the aliens' databases wouldn't recognize, not because it was too advanced, but because it was elegantly simple. The electromagnetic pulse rifles had been developed not from alien technology, but from humanity's own research into non-lethal weapons. Against biological systems, they proved devastatingly effective. The first wave of aliens collapsed as their nervous systems overloaded. Above, Commander Vex struggled to comprehend what was happening. How are they doing this? Their technology level. Commander, Rix interrupted. I'm receiving coded transmissions from multiple points across the planet. They're coordinating. The entire species is working together. This revelation struck Vex like a physical blow. The Dominion's strategy had always relied on dividing primitive species against themselves. Unity was something they encountered only among advanced civilizations. Impossible, Vex muttered. Our intelligence showed constant warfare among their factions. Dr. Walsh, monitoring the alien communications, smiled grimly. Their first mistake was assuming our divisions made us weak. Our second stroke of luck was having 3 years to prepare. The battle raged across Earth, but the outcome was becoming clear. The aliens had superior technology, but humanity had something else: adaptability, creativity, and the desperate ingenuity of a species fighting for its survival. In the Australian outback, Marine Captain Torres established communication with the primary alien landing force. Instead of attacking directly, her unit had cut their power sources and trapped them in a canyon. Deprived of their technology, the invaders found themselves helpless against environmental hazards and coordinated human attacks. Commander Vex, Torres broadcast on the alien frequency. I am Captain Torres of Earth's United Defense Forces. Your invasion is failing, not because you underestimated our technology, but because you failed to understand us as a species. Vex, his fleet in tatters, and his ground forces surrendering or fleeing, finally understood his fatal error. These humans hadn't just prepared weapons, they had prepared psychologically, culturally, and strategically. Every human on the planet had been trained in basic defense protocols. Every piece of civilian infrastructure had been hardened or prepared for conversion to military use. As the alien retreat accelerated, General Miller addressed the planet. Today, Earth proved that technology alone doesn't win wars. Adaptability, unity, and the will to defend our home defeated an enemy who should have conquered us easily. Commander Vex's final transmission back to the Dominion was simple. Avoid. Earth, we were deceived, not by their technology but by our assumptions. They are far more dangerous than they appear. The irony wasn't lost on Dr. Walsh. Humanity had always excelled at warfare precisely because they had spent so much time fighting among themselves. When directed outward, that expertise was devastating. Earth had survived its first interstellar war not by catching up technologically, but by understanding that the best weapon wasn't always the most advanced one. Sometimes it was simply the most cleverly employed. The alien fleet retreated beyond Earth's detection range, carrying with them a lesson they should have learned before invading. Never underestimate humans.